Hey, shalom, brothers and sisters. Welcome back. I thank you again for joining me. Well, today I want to talk about the prophecies and fulfillments of the destruction of the temples, the past temples, and Jerusalem in the past. We know that the Babylonians were the first ones to destroy the house of Yahweh and Jerusalem, and then the second was the Romans in roughly 70. CE, the Common Era. And I just want to share some of these with you. It's a nice little Bible lesson. So if you have your Bible out, follow along with me. And I'm going to start out with the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 21. This is when he foretold the invasion and captivity of Jerusalem, the destruction. And I'm going to start out, it's going to be verses 1 through 14. It says here, the word which came unto Jeremiah from Yahweh, when King Zedekiah's son sent unto him Pashur the son of Melichiah, and Zephaniah the son of Meshaiah the priest, saying, Inquire, I pray thee, of Yahweh for us, for Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon maketh war against us. If so be that Yahweh will deal with us according to all his wondrous works, and he may go up from us. Then said Jeremiah unto them, Thus say to Zedekiah, Thus saith Yahweh Elohim of Israel, Behold, I will turn back the weapon of war that are in your hands, wherewith you fight against the king of Babylon and against the Chaldeans, which besiege you without the walls, and I will assemble them into the midst of this city. I myself will fight against you with an outstretched hand and with a strong arm, even in anger and in fury and in great wrath. And I will smite the inhabitants of this city, both men and beast. They shall die of a great pestilence. And afterwards saith Yahweh, I will deliver Zedekiah king of Judah with his servants and the people and such as are left in this city from pestilence, from the sword, and from the famine, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and unto the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of those that seek their life, and he shall smite them with the edge of the sword. He shall not spare them, neither have pity, nor have mercy. And unto this people thou shalt say, Thus saith Yahweh, Behold, I set before you the way of life and the way of death. He that abideth in the city shall die by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence. But he that goeth out and falleth to the Chaldeans that besiege you, he shall live, and his life shall be unto him for a prey. For I have set my face against the city for evil and not for good, saith Yahweh. It shall be given into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall burn it with fire. And touching the house of the king of Judah, say, Hear you the word of Yahweh. O house of David, thus saith Yahweh, execute judgment in the morning and deliver him that is spoiled out of the hand of the oppressor, lest my fear go out like fire and burn, that none can quench it because of the evil of your doings. Behold, I am against thee, O inhabitants of the valley, and the rock of the plain, saith Yahweh, which say, Who shall come down against us? Or who shall enter into our habitations? But I will punish you according to the fruit of your doings, saith Yahweh, and I will kindle fire in the forest whereof, and it shall devour all things around about it. So the people, the inhabitants of Judea, sinned greatly. They sinned greatly against Yahweh, and the time was going to come, and this foretold time was coming. He's letting everybody know in advance his displeasure of them, and for their idolatry and sins and turning their backs on Yahweh. So, and if you go to 52, Jeremiah 52, it does talk about, and I encourage you to read that whole chapter. It's prophecy comes to life. Then that's what happens. Exactly what happens. Nebuchadnezzar comes and takes the city and the captives and carries them away, burns everything down. Takes Zedekiah and his sons and execute the princes, the sons, and gouges out Zedekiah's eyes, and carries him back home to Babylon, where later he dies. I'm gonna go to Second Kings. Yeah, Second Kings here. Second Kings, right about. It'll be 25. Yeah. Oops, a little too far there. Second 25 and 1 through 21. This is the story. Nebuchadnezzar attacks Jerusalem. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month of the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his host, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and they built forts against it all around it. And the city was besieged unto the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city. There was no bread for the people of the land. And the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between the two walls, which is by the king's garden. Now the Chaldees were against the city round about, and the king went the way toward the plain. And the army of the Chaldees pursued after the king and overtook him in the plain of Jericho, and all his army were scattered from him. So he took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon and Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him. And they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him with fetters and brass, and carried him away to Babylon. Uh, And the 5th month of the 7th day of the month, which is 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Nebuchadnezzar, captain of the guard, a servant of the king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem. And he burnt the house of Yahweh, and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem, and every great man's house burnt he with fire. And all the army of the Chaldees that were with the captain of the guard broke down the walls of Jerusalem round about. Now the rest of the people that were left in the city, and the fugitives that fell away to the king of Babylon with the remnant of the multitude, did Nebuchadnezzar, the captain of the guard, carry away. But the captain of the guard left of the poor of the land to be vine dressers and husbandmen. And the pillars of brass that were in the house of Yahweh, and the bases and the brazen sea that was in the house of Yahweh, did the Chaldees break to pieces, and carried the brass of them to Babylon. And the pots and the shovels and the snuffers and the spoons and all the vessels of brass wherewith they ministered took they away. And the fire pans and the bowls and such things as were of gold and gold and silver, and the captain of the guard took them away too. The two pillars, one sea, and the bases which Solomon had made for the house of Yahweh. The brass of all these vessels was without weight. The height of one pillar was 18 cubits, and the chapter upon which was brass, and the height of the chapter 3 cubits, and the wreathen work and pomegranates upon the chapiter round about all the brass, and like unto these had a second pillar with brethren work. And the captain of the guard took Seraiah the chief priest, and Zephaniah the second priest, and the three keepers of the door. And out of the city he took an officer that was set over the men of war, and 5 men of them that were in the king's presence, which were found in the city, and the principal scribe of the host, which mustered the people of the land, and the 60 men of the people of the land that were found in the city. And Nebuchadnezzar, captain of the guard, took these and brought them to the king of Babylon, to Riblah. And the king of Babylon smote them and slew them at Riblah in the land of Hamath. So Judah was carried away out of their land. So they were exiled. They was taken out of their homeland, their promised land, for their wickednesses, abominations, and things like that. Now we're going to go to, I'm going to jump over to the New Testament, book of Luke. Now we're going to talk about the Romans. The Romans, and I'm going to go to chapter 19. Chapter 19 and 43 to 44. 43 to 44. And this is for the day shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee and encompass thee around and keep thee on every side, and shall lay thee even the ground and thy children within thee, and shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. So that was Messiah, when he's given another lesson to his disciples, telling them what was foretold, what's going to happen. And if we go to skip over to Luke 21 now, Luke 21, and it'd be we'll go to chapter 5 and 6, and it says here, and some spoke of the temple, how it was adorned with goodly stones and gifts, and he said, as for these things which you behold, the days will come in which there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. So just like the time of Babylon, the Romans, he's prophesying and predicting that Rome is going to do the same thing, and of course they did. They did the same thing. Now I'm going to jump over to stay on the same chapter 21, but I'm going to go to verses 20. We'll go to 20 to 24, and says right here, 20 to 24. And when you shall see Jerusalem encompassed with armies, then you know that the desolation therefore is near. Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereunto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. And but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck to those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and the wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captives into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So Yeshua's further explaining what's going to happen, what's going on. And we know, like I said, we know that what happened to it. He's predicting this. And now I'm going to jump down to 28. Let's see, 28, verse 28 here says, and when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near. After all this stuff and all great distress, of course, we know The Messiah is going to come back and save mankind from its evil self. He's going to right many wrongs. He's going to redeem mankind. And now I want to go to see. I'm going to jump back up to verse 26, 21, chapter 21, 26 of Luke. Men's hearts. See, this is what happens. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. That's how scary it's going to be. The powers of heaven is going to be shaken. People are going to be afraid. This is going to be a time of great troubles and tribulations like the world's never seen before. It's going to be truly scary. And I'm going to go to jump over to 33 here, go down 33 of Luke 21, verse 33. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but not my words shall not pass away. Even if this present earth and everything passes away, his word will never, ever pass away. And that's what he said. That's a promise we need to heed. But as you know, 70 AD, that's what happened. Uh, the Jewish people rebelled, rioted, factions, they was fighting among themselves, and Rome had it with them. Rome had it, and they came in and wiped out the nation, the country, all the landmarks, all the landmarks associated with the Jewish people. They didn't tear down what was theirs, the imperial property. They didn't tear that down, of course, but they tore down the temples, set fire to everything, leveled everything. Where if you would have looked years later, if you was living in that time and come back 5-10 years later, you would never know that a city existed there. That's historical reports too, not just the Bible, but historical reports of people living even 100 years after Jerusalem was destroyed and the temple, along with the temple. But anyways, them were prophecies, the fulfillments of the first two, the temples and the. But when next time it's going to be a future time when the army is going to start surrounding Jerusalem again, and they're going to come to destroy it. And it's going to be a scary time. The Great Tribulation, the abomination of desolation will be kicking in. It's going to be bloodshed, war, and all kinds of things that mankind's never seen in its history. And we got to be keenly aware of this stuff. We have to. It's very important. And thankfully, Yeshua is going to come back and he's going to save mankind from their own destructive carnal natures. Anyways, that's all I want to say right now. And I thank you again for joining me. Please give me a big thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. I'd really would appreciate that. Till we meet again, brothers and sisters, peace out and shalom.